Hey guys, it's Melanie. Before we get into the video, I do want to apologize for the extreme bright light today. I tried playing with the blinds here and I can't get the lighting perfect today. It's actually a really great overcast day, but it is like washing me out more than usual for some reason. And with the blinds, I cannot get it like toned down quite enough without making it too dark in here. So we're going with this. My apologies if it is very bright right now. Today I'm going to give you guys a review of the Becca Multitasking Perfecting Powder. I have this in the color light. This is what the container looks like here. I actually bought this back in January. I ordered it on January 20th from Ulta. I have my little sheet here from the actual order. And I was looking for it on the Ulta website to read you guys the description to let you know what the claims are and stuff. And I couldn't find it on the Ulta website anymore, and I couldn't find it on the Sephora website either. I was able to locate it on Dermstore, so I don't know if they are phasing this product out. I would be a little bummed if they are, because I do actually kind of like it. But if you know anything about this perfecting powder, if you've used it a lot in the past and you have any feedback on whether they are phasing this out. I have seen this also several times on Haute Look, but it usually sells out pretty quickly, so I've never been able to grab it off of there. So I did pay full price for this. Let's take a look here on the Dermstore website. Dermstore sells this for $34, so that's probably what I paid for it at Ulta as well, although Ulta doesn't give me like the amount that the products were. So anyway, I have the color light here. It looks like there are 7 colors in the range. It does start with a fair. So one step below the light would be the fair. The light is, let's see if it'll come across on camera here. So the light does have a lot of yellow undertones. So if you typically have trouble finding powders because they tend to be too beige, I can tell you that this one is very yellow. And I actually like that because I sometimes will pair it with my Laura Geller Balance and Brighten in Fair, which if you use that and you have more yellow undertones, you definitely know that there can be a definite, like, it's noticeable that your foundation doesn't exactly match the rest of your body. I can make the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten work for me. There are some tips and tricks that I use to make it work, but it's still not the ideal color for me. I wish that Laura Geller would fix that, but what can you do? Anyway, so this is very yellow, so if you are looking for a very yellow undertone in your powders, here's one. The Fair looks to be much more neutral, and it's also significantly lighter. Would probably be too light for me, even though normally I consider myself fair. And then there also, it goes as high up as deep bronze, but there are only 7 shades. So I feel like most people would probably fall into one of these categories. It would be close enough to your skin tone probably. The darkest one is definitely pretty dark, although I don't know that it would be dark enough for the darkest skin tone. So don't quote me on that. This would be worth looking up though if you have a darker skin tone, just because I do think it's actually a pretty good product, to see if that would work for you or not. So this is, it looks like you get 0.2 ounces of product here, so 5.66 grams. And just to give you a comparison, the Wander Beauty, oh, and here comes my cat. The Wander Beauty Powder Foundation comes with 0.31 ounces of product, or 9 grams of product. So, and this is, I think this is somewhere in the $40 range. Oh, and here she is. Simmer down if you're gonna be here. I would show you the Balance and Brighten, but I currently have this much larger size from QVC. So this, I don't know how much is in the regular size, but I want to say that this is just over 2 times the amount that you normally get from a Balance and Brighten. And this one here is 20 grams of product. So this is obviously significantly larger than this, but just to give you some reference. So it's kind of a small amount of product here. That being said, let's go ahead and run through the claims of this. So they say that The Becca Cosmetics Multitasking Perfecting Powder will easily allow you to achieve an effortless matte complexion while keeping your foundation color even and set. Infused with antioxidants, this pressed powder lends anti-aging benefits while enabling your skin to breathe. The Silky and Buildable formula is ideal for highlighting, contouring, and quick touch-ups. And basically they are telling you that you can use this for any number of things. So it's not necessarily meant to be a powder foundation, although on the box here it does say Flawless Foundation, Silky Setting Powder, Sculpting and Defining. So I bought this with the purpose of testing it as a powder foundation because you guys know, with my extremely oily skin, powder foundation just works the best. It's just the thing that works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but works for me. So I tried it as a powder foundation by itself. It really wasn't the best. It didn't provide as good a coverage as the Wander Beauty Powder Foundation, this guy right here, or the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten. It could not compete with those two. But what I do really like this for is setting either of those two powder foundations. And I know some of you are probably thinking, why do you need to set a powder foundation? Like, I do, because with my oily skin, the more powders that I'm able to apply to my skin and buff into my skin, the less oily my skin gets throughout the day. The powders really do help to absorb a lot of the oil that comes through, and then I can just go with like a piece of tissue and blot the excess that comes through that powder. So for me, I have always used a setting powder of some kind. Recently I've been using the Laura Geller Filter Fix, and then I've also used the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder. So here's another Becca setting powder here. And so for me, it's just something that I found that works for me. You don't necessarily have to set a powder foundation. It depends on your skin type. So for me, I do really enjoy setting my powder foundation, especially the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten, because the tone of this is very beige, and I will actually compare the two next to each other, because what this Becca powder does for me is it corrects the tone of this, which is very beige. You can see the difference in the tone here. I mean, it's pretty big difference. So this helps to balance that beiginess out and allows my skin to look like I have the right color foundation on. I just love this Balance and Brighten so much in terms of being a powder foundation. It just performs so well on my skin, and I love the way that it feels. I love the way that it wears. It doesn't ever feel heavy or cakey, and it's just beautiful. It's a matte finish, but it's not like a flat matte. It's the perfect finish. It really is. But anyway, this allows me to color correct this by just dusting a little bit of this over top, and I'm good to go. So for that reason, I give this sucker 2 thumbs up. I really actually like it a lot, and this color is absolute perfection. By itself, it is not a powder foundation for me, but as a setting powder, it is fantastic. And so it is kind of neat that it is this smaller size, because you could very easily pop this into your purse for touch-ups throughout the day. You might bring a brush with you. You know, I just kind of dust it lightly over my skin with either the Zoeva Grand Luxe brush, or sometimes I'll even just use, are you leaving now? Okay, bye. Sometimes I'll even just use my beloved It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Powder number 701 brush. I'll link this down below for you guys, because this is my holy grail powder foundation brush. If you, not that this is a review of this, I've done multiple reviews of this, but if you are looking for a really good powder foundation brush that just melts the powder into your skin, you're gonna need this. It is a worthwhile investment. I don't know, wait until you can get it on sale at Sephora or whatever. I do know that in April, I think we're supposed to be having the 15% off sale. The like spring VIB sale basically, so that might be the time to pick that up. But anyway, this, I really like this powder. I do think it helps to absorb a little bit of excess oil. I think that it helps to correct the tone of my favorite powder foundation, and it just does a great job of setting my makeup. It's great product, you guys. I do wish that you got a little bit more for the price, but because I'm not using it as a powder foundation, I'm not using as much of the product, if that makes sense. When I'm using powder foundation, I definitely dip my brush in multiple times. Typically, I will dab my brush in twice to this, and you know, one half of my face and then the other half of my face. So I'm not using it as aggressively as I do my normal powder foundation anyway. So I don't actually mind that it is a smaller container of it because of that. So I like this a lot. Let me know if you have used this multitasking perfecting powder. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. In general, I usually have pretty good luck with Becca in terms of their powder products. So this one's another one. And thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.